Hello, music fans. You're watching Death by Unicorn, and now that August 2025 is over, it's time to count down my 10 favorite albums that came out in August. And lots of good stuff in August. Not the strongest month that we've had this year, though. My number 10 and my number 9 are in my very good tier. Most of the other albums on this list are in my excellent tier, but my top 3 are near masterpiece tier albums for me. So definitely stick around to find out what those are. And we'll start with my number 10, which is Panopticon and their album Songs of Hiraeth, which is atmospheric black metal with folk and progressive influences. So this one's in my very good tier. This is a collection of songs by Panopticon. They're an American band, and these songs were written during the On the Subject of Mortality time period between 2009 and 2011. So it's hard to say if that makes this a compilation album or a new album entirely. These are obscure and rare old tracks. Some of these tracks were used on splits with other bands, the first 3 from a split with Wheels Within Wheels. Some were simply sitting on a computer to be forgotten, intended for splits that never materialized. And some were on a split with Vestige. So they went back into these old sessions, they remixed them, they cleaned them up. And I like this one. I like this album more than the folk album that they dropped on the same day, but it's still not quite as great as 2023's The Rhyme of Memory. I don't know everything about the rest of their catalog, but this makes me interested to check out more of their stuff. At number 9, I've got Oni with Genesis Part 2. This is an EP. It's melodic metalcore with alternative metal, groove metal, djent, and pop influences. Also in my very good tier. Oni is a great Canadian band. I guess I don't know if this is a band or a solo artist. The vocalist is Jake Oni, so the band's named after his last name. He brings in a bunch of different collaborators. So it's kind of like a solo project, kind of a band. I thought Part 1, Genesis Part 1 was a very good EP, and his latest full-length studio album is excellent, so I was looking forward to this EP. If you're a fan of Killswitch Engage and All That Remains, and want to hear that with some more modern djent influence in the sound, like some periphery, this EP continues that sound for Oni, and it continues the greatness of Part 1. Oni's vocal delivery is great, the hooks are catchy, and the riffs are groovy, so check that out if that sounds good to you. That's Oni Genesis Part 2. Now we're bumping up to my excellent tier. At number 8, I've got Asymmetric Universe with A Memory and What Came After. This is instrumental progressive metal with djent, with jazz fusion influences in there. Check out the track Feather on a Glass for a preview there. This is the debut album by this band. I want to say they're Italian. And it's instrumental prog metal with jazz fusion. If you're a fan of Intervals, Polyphia, Pliny, Animals as Leaders, Scale the Summit, bands like those, you'll like this. Asymmetric Universe has really impressive guitar playing, cool compositions and rhythms, nice changes between soft and heavy sections to keep it interesting, despite the lack of vocals. At number 7, I have Trudger and their album Void Quest. This is sludge metal with death metal influences. Also in my excellent tier. And check out the track Battle Hardened for a preview of this. This is Trudger's second album. They're from the UK, I think Scotland, I believe. I never heard their debut album, but heard the single Tethered System ahead of time, enjoyed it, so put this on my list to listen to. And I saw that 2 guitarists in Trudger used to be in the band Dune, which is a band I love, so that's part of what got me excited for this. So check this out if you're a fan of Dune and Mastodon, but you want to hear the sound of those bands with some more brutality and some more harsh vocals and a little less prog. There's still some sprinkles of prog influence in here, but this is a lot more leaning into the sludge with a little bit of the death metal. Yes, and mostly pretty much all harsh vocals. My favorite tracks at the moment are Battle Hardened, which is my current favorite, and Sleep Purge. At number 6, I've got Whimsical Creature with Wistful Thinking. This is progressive folk rock, so something different from the ones I was talking about before, which all kind of have some metal. This one doesn't have any metal whatsoever, just progressive folk rock in my excellent tier. And this is a debut album by this band from the UK. Whimsical Creature features Michael Whiteman from I Am the Manic Whale on vocals, guitar, piano, drums, and bass, and Ella Lloyd on flute, vocals, auto harp, glockenspiel, and percussion. And I really enjoy everything I've heard that features Michael Whiteman, his stuff that I've heard from I Am the Manic Whale, and his collaboration with Ryo Okamoto on Ryo's latest solo album. So I checked this out, and it's excellent. It's very catchy, like I Am the Manic Whale, and the prevalent use of flutes brings an interesting element to the music. Definitely check this out if you're a fan of I Am the Manic Whale, if you're a fan of Toe Hider. It has that kind of fun, silly, funny, but also kind of serious and smart lyrics at the same time, like you get with Toe Hider. And if you like Jethro Tull for the flute, then definitely check out Wistful Thinking by Whimsical Creature. At number 5, I've got The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, and their album Dreams of Being Dust. This is post-hardcore with some Midwest emo, some screamo, post-rock, indie rock, alternative rock influences all in there, and this is in my excellent tier as well. Check out the track Dimmed Sun as a preview. This is the 5th album by this American band, and I'd never listened to a full album by them before, but I heard good things about The World's a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. I enjoyed this single, Se Sufre Pero Se Goza, so I plan to check this out. The whole album's really awesome. Hard to decide how to rate it on first listen, but I put it in my excellent tier, even though I contemplated going with Near Masterpiece. I thought going into it they were more of a post-rock band. This one leans more into post-hardcore emo and punk with some post-rock, indie, alternative, prog, and maybe even a little bit of metal in there. It's not really a metal album, but there's sprinkles of that. There are harsh vocals, but mostly clean. I was surprised by how many sweet riffs and awesome guitar parts there are on this album, and for the variety in the vocals from harsh to clean, both male and female. Really interesting to listen to, and it inspired me to go back and listen to more from them. So I love the opening track. I think that's my favorite track on the album so far. I also love Se Sufre Pero Se Goza, and No Pilgrim, and Dissolving. There's really no weak moments on this album. If that sounds good to you, check out Dreams of Being Dust by The World is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die. At number 4, I've got an EP, an excellent EP by Car Bomb called Tiles Whisper Dreams. This is Mathcore and it's in my excellent tier. Check out the track Paroxysm as a preview. Now, Car Bomb's just an amazing American mathcore band. They've got Djent style of guitar playing and sound, but they do even more chaotic stuff with rhythm changes than most Djent bands do. This EP is so short, it's only 12 minutes long, but it packs a real punch. It's relentlessly brutal, chaotic, heavy, and technical the whole time. Wild, harsh vocals reminiscent of Meshuggah. Maybe this is the heaviest and most brutal band around today. It's up there. At the same time, though, they're very musical, they're very technical, and they're very proficient at all their instruments. The rhythms are intricate. It's hard to know what time signature you're in. So it's not just about crushing brutality. There's also a lot of musical excellence and interesting stuff going on here. The way they change tempos and speed up is very unique and unusual. The way they make their guitars sound like a race car is pretty cool. So if you want to hear the sound of Meshuggah meet the insanity of Dillinger Escape Plan, definitely check this out. I just wish it was longer and they gave us a full length, but it's still in my excellent tier despite its short length. One of the best EPs of the year, Car Bomb, Tiles Whisper Dreams. At number 3, now we're moving up to my near masterpiece tier with Ihlo and their album Legacy. This is progressive metal, kind of Djent style. It's got electronic pop and progressive rock influences. Check out the track Cenotaph as a preview. And this is the second album by Ihlo. They're from the UK. Are they from Scotland as well? I don't remember what part of the UK they're from. Never heard their debut, but I heard 2 singles from this ahead of time, Empire and Replica. And they're both really well done. They're progressive metal with catchy hooks, anthemic choruses for fans of Tesseract. The whole album's amazingly executed. Many epic sounding parts, catchy hooks, great rhythms, grooves with great syncopation. The only critique I can think of is every track kind of sounds a bit samey for the length, and that's a very minor criticism because it's all really amazing. That's Ihlo Legacy at number 3. At number 2, I've got Jack the Joker with The Devil to Pay in the Backlands. This is progressive metal. Check out the track Denied for a preview here. Jack the Joker is a Brazilian band. This is their 3rd album, and the vocals sound like a mix of Toe Hider, Leprous, Good Tiger, No Spoon, maybe even a little bit of Protest the Hero in there. The high pitch, well done with a lot of character, almost all clean vocals. There are some screams. The guitar parts are sometimes djenty and bouncy, other times they do shredding leads and solos. And the album ends with a 13-minute prog epic called Hope. My favorite tracks are Denied and Sun, as well as the closing epic Hope. That sounds good to you. Check out Jack the Joker and The Devil to Pay in the Backlands. Now, my number 1 album of August 2025 is Deftones with Private Music. This is alternative metal with shoegaze, post-rock, and dream pop influences. And check out the track My Mind is a Mountain for a preview here. Yeah, also in my near masterpiece tier. This is the 10th album by Deftones. They're an American band, and I love all their albums. They never miss for me. So I was excited to hear this. And they hit it out of the park again. Another near masterpiece, very similar in sound to all the other Deftones albums. But to me, that's not a bad thing because I love all their albums. I'll be seeing them live with System of a Down and Polyphia very soon, which I'm looking forward to. And my favorite tracks at the moment are My Mind is a Mountain, which is a great opener and my favorite right now. And I Think About You All the Time, which is a beautiful, slower song. I also love Ecdysis, Souvenir, and CXZ. Lots of amazing tracks here from Deftones, continuing their greatness, being one of the best. Really, them and System of a Down, I feel, are the best, or at least among the best in this alternative metal scene. That's it for my 10 favorite albums of August 2025. What do you think of this list? Let me know down in the comments. Have you heard any of these? What do you think of them? And what are your 10 favorite albums that came out in August 2025? Or even just however many you listen to, like 5 or 3, or just give me your favorite. I'm always looking for new stuff to check out. If you like metal, rock, and prog, you're in the right place. I talk about it at least weekly, typically. I give my first impressions of new stuff as it comes out. And at the end of every month, I give my top 10 like this. My next video will probably be my September album release radar, where I'll talk about all the albums that are coming out in September that I'll be checking out. For a quick spoiler of that, the video after that, I'll be talking about stuff that's coming out on September 5th. And giving my first impressions on that. There will be music from Tala, Bless the Fall, and Green Carnation that I'm really looking forward to. So hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in the loop on when I release those videos, and peace out.